one that I have a hard time thinking through sometimes. So this one's tricky. Oh, is it this one? This one's a little bit tricky too. We'll come back to that one. Let's see. I'm looking for categorizing substances from a sketch. This one is just weird. So this one is something that you have to practice. So looking at this, it is filling the container. This one is a liquid. Okay, that's pretty easy. Then we look here. It looks like it's clear. So whatever it is, we can see through it. So that's going to help us answer some of these next questions. And then if we zoom in all the way, we have a mixture of things. And what this is trying to represent here is sodium chloride in water. So we have, well, it's not a solid. So we've decided the phase, it's a liquid. It can't be all three of these. So if it's a liquid, it's not these other two. It's not an element because there's more than one element. Okay, we have different colored balls, so it's not an element. It's not just a compound. If it's a compound, then we would only see one such compound. So we have water and we have some other things floating around. So it's not a compound. This looks to me like a mixture because we have a mixture of water and then these other floating things. So I know this is water because we have oxygen, which is red, and then we have two hydrogens. So we've got and it's, if you've taken a previous science class, this one is polar. So our hydrogens are pointing to one side. We'll talk about that later, but that's something that helps me recognize that this is water with something else in it. So it looks like a mixture. And then I'm going to click that it's a solution. And the reason I'm going to do that is because if I look back here, it's there's no like floaty things in there. It's all looks really uniform on the 1,000 times scale. So it is a solution when it's all mixed together really well. Everything's really well dispersed and you can see through it. It's not a pure substance because there's two different things going on, or you could even say three different things going on. And then this is going to be a homogeneous mixture because everything is mixed really, really well together. On this one, you can't distinguish between where things are. So that is my reasoning for this one. Let's check and see if my reasoning is correct. Okay, so that's my reasoning. These ones were really tricky for me. I've practiced a lot, so I'm getting better. But if you ever need help, you can do the explanation. Let's go through a few more of these. So this one, again, this one looks like a liquid. Then let's zoom in a little bit. It has little floaties. So that one's probably going to be some kind of mixture because there's floaties. And it's probably going to be a heterogeneous mixture because at this level, we can see these like little particles. So heterogeneous means it's not very uniform. There's like chunks. Heterogeneous, is like chunks floating around. Not mixed on the molecular level. So then we look at this one. Okay, and we see these water particles and then this thing floating around. So some kind of small particle. This is where I get stuck. I don't think this would be a solution because at this level we can see there's stuff. So I wouldn't call it a solution. We'll see if Alex thinks it's a solution. I don't think it's a pure substance because at this level we have two different substances. We have this particle thing and we have water. Those are two different substances, so it's not pure. And it's not homogeneous because it's not see-through at the 1,000 times level. So let's check and see. Okay. Let's see. Let's do a few more. This one just is kind of tricky for me. So I think this one's tricky. All right, this one, again, is a liquid. Hopefully we get something more interesting. This one looks like it's see-through, so let's keep thinking, but that's probably going to be a solution. Oh, it might not be. Maybe it's pure, so let's wait on that one. And then we look here. These two waters are on top of each other, but I don't think they're bonded. So hopefully that's not like a trick question. We'll see. But this one to me looks like it's a compound. There's only one thing, and it's a compound because we have hydrogen bonding to oxygen. If it was an element, then we'd only have oxygen, or we'd only have hydrogen. But a compound, we have this bond going on between hydrogen and oxygen. So it's a compound. It's not a mixture because there's only one thing. It's not a solution because there's only one thing. It's a pure substance because there's only water, pure water. And then it's not a mixture. It's just water. Unless they're counting this as something, but I don't think they are. So let's check and see what they think. Okay. All right, let's do another one. We've had only solutions, so let's see if we can get one. Okay, here's a different one. This one is you're supposed to imagine like a pile of salt or something like this on your table. So this one looks to me like a solid. Okay. And then if we zoom in, okay, we have this like thing going on. We don't really know what that is, but we got some steps. If we zoom in, it's kind of jaggedy. If we zoom really, really far in, then we have two different elements. We have this yellow and this green element. We have two different elements. So it's not just an element, it's going to be a compound because we have two different ones. If this was all green or all yellow, then it would be an element. But because we have two different ones, it's going to be a compound. And then it's not a mixture. It is kind of a mixture, but this is not considered a mixture. A mixture is two compounds mixed together, or two elements mixed together, but this is just one compound. This is not a solution. In our class, a solution needs to be with water. This is going to be pure substance. It's just one thing. And again, we can look at that. We only have one step kind of thing. Pure substance, and then not a mixture. So we don't have to click either of those. All right, so let's see if we got that. Okay, all right, let's do one more. Oh, this is weird. This to me looks like a bubble or a balloon or a glass with a gas in it. So I think this is a gas. So not liquid or solid. And then if we zoom in, okay, it's kind of see-through. Okay, and then let's zoom in really, really close. So if we look at this really, really close, we only have one element. We have, so I don't know what, this is probably like chlorine, ClCl. Green is usually chlorine. So this is an element because we only have one. It's not a compound because we only have one element. If it was like chlorine and hydrogen, then we'd have two different elements bonded together and make it a compound. But this is just one element bonded to itself. That's an element. It's not a mixture. It's not a solution. This would be pure. Again, it's not a mixture. So let's check and see. Okay. And let's see if we can. Okay, this one is weird. So let's think through this one. So this one we have like two things. One's on the top of the other. We can imagine this is like oil and water. This one's going to be a liquid. Okay. Imagine that this liquid is in this beaker. And then let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, we have this phase separation. And then let's zoom in really, really close and we have these two different things going on. So this is not an element because there's more than one. We have carbon and oxygen and hydrogen. So we have all sorts of elements. So not just one. This one we have compounds, but it's not just one compound. So it's going to be a mixture. Okay. And then if we zoom out again, this is not a solution because we have this phase boundary. We have something on the top. So that's not going to be a solution. Solutions have to be on this level. They have to be only like clear, or you have to be able to see through them. So that's not a solution. It's not a pure substance. So this by itself would be a pure, this by itself would be a pure substance, but together in this beaker, this is not a pure substance. And then this is a mixture in this beaker, and it's a heterogeneous mixture because we have like a phase. Something is sitting on top of the other compound. It's not mixed really well. So this is how I would classify this substance in the speaker. Oops. So let's see if Alex agrees. Okay. If you have questions on this one, let me know. Sometimes the explanation can help, but this one is something that I would have to practice. I've had to practice this one to get good at this one.